And man, the unique sound that this guy brings to this genre, the whole game. So I'm very excited. But before we do that, let me introduce, of course, my co-host, my good friend, one of the guys. This guy has become my best friend through Upchurch. We met in one of Upchurch's video game streams, just shouting each other out, and found out we were like neighbors. And then we just started hanging out. Went to a show together, and then he decided to move. But that's okay. I still love the guy anyway. We're gonna introduce our boy Cardiac Kid. Let's fucking go.
What is going on, everybody?
How you doing, Cardiac Kid?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. We just got the Blue Jeans album playing in the background. We're getting ready to talk to our boy Kalaniondabeat. How you feeling today, man?
Feeling great. Feeling great.
Feeling great. You should be feeling phenomenal, baby.
I
That's
am.
what I'm talking about. And you're in a new location, right? Like this
Yes,
is
I
your
am.
new digs, right?
Yes, sir. It should be.
Again,
Should be
hard
my
work
new
pays
place.
off, baby. Hard work pays off. It's okay that you moved away from me, man. I mean, I still love you, but now you just give me a spot to go hang out and spend time with. So
Yes, sir.
shout out to that, and shout out to all the mods in the chat who are dropping links and stuff like that too. Yo, Kalani, killing it, dude. Straight up. Yo, our brother Buckeye Creeker, what's
Going
up,
on,
man?
Buckeye?
What's up, brother? Hey, shout out to Big Creeker, man. Big Creeker, shout out to him.
Catch all these catfish and turtles.
All right, so before we introduce our guest, bro, I want you to tell me what this album means to you. When we sat and did the live stream and listened to it, tell me what it means to you, man, because I've been listening to it nonstop.
Oh, shoot. What does it mean to me? You got to put me on the spot like this.
I love putting this. I love it. Come on, man, you got to learn to do this on the fly, bro. Let's go.
Man, I don't know what it means to me yet, man. Still, like I said, been listening to it nonstop. I love that album.
Well, I'll tell you what it means to me.
No complaints at all.
I'll tell you what it means to me, man. The whole, like, really kind of coming into who you are as an individual in your older age, learning who you can trust, who you can't trust, and not being scared to, take shots at people who disrespect you, man. That's what it means to me. It's to know your place and to know your worth in the world, man. I
And
think
step
that's
outside of your comfort zone.
That's it. Roto Commish, what's up, brother? I appreciate you being here. Are we ready to introduce our guest? I think we're ready to introduce our guest.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, guys. We're going to introduce our brother, Kalaniondabeat. Here he is. Here's his intro. I love you guys. Kalaniondabeat.
Like a clown, the it factor gonna stab any rapper back down to the ground. Who the fuck wanted when history fucked up? Watch 'em make it rain.
Yo, what's
Yo.
up with it? Hey,
Yo, what's
up,
going
brother
on?
Kalaniondabeat?
what's
Hopefully you like the
good?
intro, man.
Bro, that intro was dope.
All right, cool. I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of go through and steal a little bit of footage from y'all's thing, but
Yeah, nah, that's it. Nah, I like that a lot.
oh yeah, I just wanted to pay respect to you and everything that you've been doing, man. But yeah, man. So how are things? How's life after the Blue Jeans album, man?
Nah, it's pretty cool, man. It's still kind of setting in with how good the album is doing.
Yeah.
And I still haven't wrapped my head around what's coming. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still kind of new.
Hey, man, it's
bet
all a
so.
blessing. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, like, obviously not knowing who you were before, and then like Upchurch is just like, yo, Kalani on the beat. It was like, who is this dude? We come out of nowhere, and I'm so glad he did, man, because I feel like the introduction of the way you do things, your style, especially with like lingo. Oh my gosh, man! Like, your style is so unique and different that I think in a world of like being able to do music pretty much on the fly whenever,
Yeah.
we need something unique. We need something different, something that pushes the limits. And I think your production style, the way you write things, is definitely pushing that envelope. So
Yeah. I appreciate that, man.
well,
Yeah, and that's how I like to do stuff. Like I don't like to think inside the box.
but it's like the fluidity, but that grit too, because that's church. He's got those good flows, but the dude brings grit,
Yeah, no, he does. And what's crazy is a lot of the tracks that I didn't make for church is traditionally my sound. You know what I'm saying? And it's always kind of been hard for me to find somebody to really mesh with my sound and how I do things. It's always the other way around. Like I'm always having to conform to this sound, conform to how they need the sound. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
in this case, it was a little different because when he came in, he was picking out all of my beats that I would make out of my sound and not something I was doing just to sound like, like a 2 Chainz type beat or
Right.
Future type beat. It wasn't like that. It was like, nah, he wanted the Kalani stash. Like, where is this at? And then B. Loose was kept picking. It was like, nah. He was like, what's the stuff that you don't play for nobody? Go to that stash.
Heck
So,
yeah, man. No, that's
what's up with it.
Yeah, that's what's up. Cardiac, you got anything to say, ask?
Not at the moment, no.
He's a little starstruck. It's okay. But no, absolutely, man. See, and I think that plays to you as a producer, a writer, that yes, I can, kind of mold myself around this artist and kind of give them their inspiration, but in the same sense, like you have your own inspiration, and this is why I wanted to talk to you personally about you coming up to this point, and then we'll talk to about the Blue Jeans and everything. But so I guess with that being said, let's start a little bit. Like, you're a kid, you're an adult. Like, when do you decide that like this is what I want to do, or like just tell us about that experience growing up and how you decided to do this?
Well, ever since I was little, like I was a kid, I was pulling out the pots and pans and banging on it in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was just so tied into music, and I didn't know it. It was just natural for me. That's what I gravitated towards every single time. Like, it was music first, and then it was sports. So it was always like, when I was growing up, my dad's a professional musician too, so that kind of got me started. So it was in me. But he's a trumpet player. He still plays now professionally. Nice. He has a whole band. They're pretty dope.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that, and on top of that, he was also a DJ, a bowling alley DJ. Nice. So we grew up on the weekends, like around records and DJ equipment, at the bowling alley, just listening to everything. So my roots in music is kind of, I won't say everywhere, but it kind of is, because on top of that, like on my mom's side of the family, my mom is Samoan. So on my mom's side of the family, we grew up doing a lot of the cultural dances and performing it around the city. And we had a dance group doing that. So we were in showbiz doing that, growing up doing the cultural dances. And then on top of that, the influence from my dad on, jazz and funk and stuff that he, had going on with the DJ.
So it's just coming from multiple different places then. You've got inspiration from your mother, your father. That's now, awesome. Let me ask you this. Have you ever featured your father on trumpet at any of your beats, any of your songs?
Yeah, I actually have with an artist named Martez, and I'm gonna probably be getting him on something with Church too. But yeah,
that's awesome.
I ain't gonna lie, he's pretty dope on the horn.
That's what's up, dude. That's what's up.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
Yeah, man. No, that's so cool, and just that you continue that inspiration, into this new stuff. And I hear that inspiration in here. I think even with this album, I remember a while back, Church was saying something about he was like really jamming out to some lo-fi stuff. I even kind of hear that inspiration in this album as well.
Oh yeah. A little bit. I'm a big fan of lo-fi.
Heck yeah, me too, man. It's so relaxing to me, and like you could just put it on and not have to worry about it. I love it, man. So I definitely hear that in this album as well. And then like you go again to that lingo, man, just that like dusty West, like gritty, sandy, dirty, like awesome beat. I love it, man. I freaking love it.
Lingo's I like lingo a lot. It reminds me of like a little bit of James Brown mixed in.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Man, dude, I can't wait to. There's just so much I want to ask you. All right, so you got the inspiration from your parents. When was it that you were like, okay, I need to buy some equipment, or I'm like, I need to like actually turn this into something and not just like a hobby? Or when was it like I want to do this for a living? What was that?
This was high school. I knew early off what I wanted to do. I've always been one of those kind of people. Like, I knew what I wanted to do early off. I've never, like, since high school. I would say around 10th grade, when I first was able to get me a job. I bought me a mixer, a mic, and I had Acid Pro. And I was learning how to track on Acid Pro. And I didn't even know anything about MIDI. So I found like an old Casio keyboard, hooked it up just to line into Acid Pro. And I was making all my beats just, I was having to like be perfect on my timing and everything, and get everything in and move stuff around. So I learned a lot just from starting off like that. Starting off with the bare minimum. So yeah, I started off early in high school. I'll say about 10th grade. That's when I knew what I wanted to do.
Nice, nice. Now, how quickly was it that you were like producing beats for other people? Was that still? I'm assuming you probably had some friends or you knew some people who were looking for somebody to produce some beats or something. Did you do any projects in high school?
Oh yeah, I did with a couple of me and my homies. It was horrible.
Always is, man. But like then it's like the best moment. You're like, this is so cool, man.
Nah, because it was cool because we were surprised because we actually made something that sounded decent, but it was horrible though. It was
Oh man, I love that, dude. Because like me growing up, it's kind of funny. The same situation, like played music. I think I got my first guitar at 14, but always been around it. Like my mother waking my brother and I up at like 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday, jamming like 80s hair metal, and then jamming like Madonna back in the 80s, like all this different stuff. So we were just surrounded by different kinds of music.
Yeah.
And so I gravitated towards that, and then got a guitar, and yeah, man, I had a band, and we would make music, and then eventually I got to a band where we actually recorded some stuff. And you go back and listen to it, dude, you're like, what were we thinking? But it's you got to start somewhere, man. And I think that like, and how long have you been producing? I think I've heard you mention it before, but how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it since I graduated high school 2002. I'm old, bro.
Oh,
so
man.
yeah, so I would say
old,
since 2001. That's when I really just started trying to figure out like how to produce. My friend, he in band, he let me borrow his Triton, a Chord Triton. I don't know if you remember those keyboards. And
yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, and everything out of the thing sounded trashy. But
that's good.
But I learned. But yeah, that's what got me started. And that was the sound of that era,
Right.
I was a kid in high school, and we thought it was cool. So that's when I really got serious with trying to learn how to produce and trying to like actually seek the knowledge. Because around that time, it wasn't really any schools for it, and there were schools, but instructors didn't know too much.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so a lot of the knowledge I was grabbing from off of what was available on YouTube at the time.
Or just like probably not a whole lot, considering YouTube is kind of like this place where people just dump these goofy home videos,
Yeah. So every now and then, or if I would hit a Guitar Center, I'll hit somebody up and ask them in Guitar Center, how do you do this? How do you do that? But,
oh, nice,
yeah.
Nice. See, then that's interesting to even think about that resource. And again, like to the chat, and we'll acknowledge you guys because you guys are saying some really great things about Kalani and about everything. So we'll get there in a second, but. I just want to focus on Kalani here and give him as much time as he wants to tell the story. It just goes to show you that like you're not using just one specific resource to go out and find out how to do this or figure it out. You're reaching out to people, you're making connections, and you got that hunger and that passion to even go to talk to somebody you don't even know and be like, hey man, I'm trying to do this. Like, can you give me some information on it? And piecing that together. And so over 20 years, obviously. Like,
20, yeah, over 20.
Yeah, I don't know the math.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I stopped counting.
Right. As soon as high school was over, I stopped counting. Okay, so right there, it just goes to show you again, like the hard work you put into this, or you put into anything, guys. 20 years goes by. Look, now he's hanging out with church, making records. People are starting to know who this guy is, which I feel personally, if you ask me, and I tell you what, Kashik and the Queen can vouch for this, that I've said this. Not only are you criminally undersubbed, but you deserve way more recognition for what you do. And that's why I kind of wanted to do this, to get you out there and let people know what you're doing, man, because it is so unique and so different. The people have to know what's going on, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think in this industry, because especially with the way things are working now, a lot of artists don't get that opportunity to sit down with producers.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And actually just create something special.
Right.
And in Houston, people get to do it with me all the time because I'm the local guy there, and I've built up a name in Houston, enough to be able to do what I do. But being able to work with somebody like Upchurch, I ain't gonna lie, it's pretty cool because there's really no limits to what y'all want, to what we can do over there, because he covers so many genres. You know what I'm saying? It's like these three artists in one.
Absolutely, man. It's funny because my whole joke is I was like, the guy's pretty much done every album other than like a straight reggae album. And now that I've said that, he's probably going to manifest that stuff into reality too. You know what I mean? Like, to really be specific, the song he does, "Good Day," very. I would say it's almost like a pop reggae track in a sense. But so you're right. He does span all these different genres, and I think with the inspiration, and quote me if or stop me if I'm wrong, but your inspiration with all the different styles growing up, I think that's why you guys fit so well together. And British Bulldog here says Kalani and Church were meant to be for sure. Yeah, I think so. I think they were definitely meant to put out an album. But as much as I love Church, and shout out to our boy Up Church, man, I want this to really be about Kalani and what he's doing. Of course, again, we love our boy Church. You all know that. I love Church, but Kalani he's the backbone of this album. Let's be honest here. He's the guy that put these beats together.
He's the mastermind behind all of it.
Right. And of course, Church throws his flavor in, adds his thing, and he's a freaking genius. But now we got two geniuses in the house, and I'm here for all of it, man. All right, so up until now, like I guess in the last year or so, what have you been doing before this? Like before the getting with Church and doing this, what have you been doing for like last year?
Well, I've been doing the same thing I do every day, music. But yeah, literally, like because I run a studio full time. So I have like probably the majority of the north side of Houston. Between me and one of my friends, like we pretty much record most of the major artists on the north side of Houston.
Nice.
And all of the artists that's buzzing here. So a lot of the sound that we have going around Houston, we kind of built, ourselves out here. So yeah, so for the past couple of years, before Up Church, I've been literally doing music every day, and I've been literally waiting for an opportunity like this to be able to like to spread my wings and be like, hey, this is what I can do. You know what I'm saying? we don't get those opportunities as producers a lot, and a lot of my friends, they go their whole careers without getting these type of opportunities. Right. To where they can actually show like, hey, I can do a little country rap, I can do a little R&B, I can do a little trap, I can do a little country. You know what I'm saying? And like, you can't ask for a better situation than a situation like this where I can just show everybody like, hey,
I'm here. I've been here, bro. I'm here. I've been here, and I'm ready to do this shit. I can do it, and I'm ready. And that's one thing I love about Up Church, man. Is like, he'll do these videos, and he's like, I ain't even turned the dial up yet. Man. Now imagine if he does, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think, honestly, I think he has bringing you in. I think that is the dial movement, man. I genuinely do, and like I said, I'm here for all of it. Cardiac, you got anything to say, man? You're awfully quiet over there.
Dude, everything that I've been wanting to ask, you've been bringing it up already. Like, no lie, like everything I had written down, you brought up, it's like, shoot.
Well, it's so funny because like I told Craig, I was like, you ready for this? He's like, yeah, man, I got some questions. I said, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm winging it, bro. Like I always do. We're just gonna wing it.
See, I've never done nothing like this. He's, I'm not a spare of the moment kind of guy.
This is just, see, and this is just something that I love interviewing people. I love talking to people. It's something that I discovered doing YouTube. Like when I first started this, dude, I was doing just like pop culture news because I was in that community. And shout out to the old school Fandom Menace if anybody remembers that shit from back in the day. But started out there, and then like through Up Church and through guys like Adam Calhoun, Jelly Roll, Demon Jones, all these guys, I've discovered this like new passion for music. And then Church says, yo, check out Kalani, drops lingo. And I'm just like, this is totally different, man. This is completely different. So again, man, like just rediscovering that passion for music, because for a while there, I didn't have that. It was like, yeah, I appreciated music. And I still had that love inside, but it was like, I kind of got swept up in the world and like all the crazy shit that's going on in the world right now. And I feel like independent music, guys like you, Church, Adam Calhoun, all those guys it's like the one space that mainstream hasn't touched yet, right? It's the one space that it hasn't been perverted by, mainstream, or if it has, people know the difference between the good shit and the bad shit. And I rock with that, man, especially independent, being a guy that kind of grew up a punk rocker, man, listening to Rancid and all those bands back in the 90s that were getting big in the 90s, I'm all about like, fuck the system, like do it yourself, right? I mean, look at rappers like Immortal Technique, one of the OG independent rappers from like back in the day. Kind of crazy stuff that the guy writes, but I think he's a great artist. And that's why I feel like I've drawn towards the reaction side of things. Why I created a new channel, because this channel we're on now technically is demonetized because it doesn't matter. Somebody came in, spammed some stuff in the chat, got me demonetized. And through that adversity, I've learned so much about this, and like starting this other channel and building this up, man, and like Church Man summited the channel, and just all you guys giving me this huge passion, this inspiration to chase music again. And I'd be okay if I'm the guy that's interviewing all you guys. I'm cool with that. I like that. That's a cool space to be in. So thank you for helping me rediscover that passion, man. I greatly appreciate that.
I'm glad I could help.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Now tell me a little bit about the Houston music scene, man. Let's talk a little bit about your home. Let's talk about what goes on down there. Tell me about that, man. I'm curious.
Man, I think the Houston music scene is pretty dope. It's a lot of talent here, a lot of raw talent in Houston. The only problem I think with Houston is just that it's not enough structure in Houston to support the type of talent we have here. Because in Houston, you can probably throw a rock and hit about 10 artists.
Yeah.
There's so many artists out here. Yeah. So that's why I'm able to like do what I do full time, just because of Houston's like 4 cities in one. And then in each part of the corner, you got all these rappers everywhere. And the thing with it is like it's only a handful of engineers, so that's why we're it's a little easier for us to do what we do here.
Hey, producers in the chat, you hear that? You guys want to pop off, man? Get down there. Get down to Houston, man.
Nah, for real. But hey, low key, any producer that's in the chat, you need to learn how to engineer. If you want to survive in the industry, and if you want to be able to make money in the industry and get in them doors, you just can't be a producer. You got to be able to engineer and produce, or have something extra to tag along with you than just being a producer. You know what I'm saying? Because if I was just a producer, I wouldn't be in this situation where I'm able to work with Church, and do a whole album and mix and master and do everything for the album. I wouldn't have been able to be in that situation. And sometimes, like, having that extra edge to you, or extra thing you can tag onto your resume, man, that thing could take you over the top sometimes.
Straight up, man. Now, when was the moment that you realized that, like, you were like, oh, I need to learn this side of it, or I'm not gonna survive? Was there a moment that you?
Yeah, early off, and I was kind of blessed to be around a lot of other, or not a lot, but a few other engineers that's been in the game way before me, and I was able to sit there and ask them questions and pull some ideas from them. And that was one of the things they'll tell me is like, you need to learn how to engineer. That's what's going to get you in the door, because it's a lot of producers everywhere, but nobody has the ear for engineering or the patience for it.
Man, I
tell
tell
you
you
what. What's the difference between the engineering and producing side? What's the difference?
Well, the producer is just, I can break down to the producer, I would say that's making the beat and, doing stuff like that.
Engineers like mixing
fun stuff, the fun stuff.
Yeah, the fun stuff. Yeah, the production, helping with the song, whatever it is. The mixing and mastering is, the unfun stuff. The making sure everything's level.
That's the engineer side.
Yeah, the compression, EQ, stuff like that, making it sound pretty. But I actually, I like that side a lot. So I actually have a passion behind engineering whenever I get behind records.
Well, maybe you can teach me, man. I've recorded some songs, because back in the day when I was writing, we were in the studio here and there, and I kind of picked up what I could, and then again, years didn't do it. And like Cardiac heard some of my stuff. Look, I'm telling everybody in the chat, engineering, we're even in production really, but engineering mostly, like, it is hard. It is hard to make sure that everything is right, because one off step, like I can hear it if there's just a slight crackle in the voice, right? Like you can, like, there's just these. Literally every micro point in a song you have to pay attention to, and man, I commend you for that, bro, because it ain't easy, dude. I'll tell you that, man.
It's not, because the Country Raised with P.D. Pablo.
Yeah,
that track was 98 tracks in the session long. 98.
Whoa, dude, I'm rocking like maybe 10.
98. It was like 60 tracks just with P.D. Pablo's background vocals.
What? Dang.
Well, I wouldn't say 60. It was like half of it. It was a lot of guitars, and then it was like a crap load of vocals.
Man, I get the processing power, dude. Was the computer bogging down a little bit?
Nah, I built a beast. I built computers, so.
Oh, hell yeah, cool.
I'm a geek on the side of being a producer. So.
Hey, well, you're in the right place for that, man.
Yeah, now I seen Retro. Who was it in the chat? Retro Gamers.
Retro Collective. Yeah, that's
Retro
a good buddy
Collective.
of ours. Yeah.
Yeah, Retro Collective. Yeah, I'm a big retro gamer. So.
Are you? Well, I do a thing on the channel. I got another channel that's like 90s nostalgia style channel where we just talk about like 90s music. We talk about 90s video games. It's 90s was the best. Let's be honest. Man, Saturday morning cartoons, X-Men, Power Rangers.
Nah, for real. I need to check out that because I have a teenager now. And he's getting into some of that. So.
Oh yeah, my daughter just turned 11, bro. I'm looking forward to what's next. She's gonna be wild, but no, that's cool, man. That's good to know that you're into that, man. Yeah, Retro Collective's a good guy. We're gonna take one question though, because I thought that was a really good question here. Where did it go? Creeker Mariah dropped it. Did Kalani win the beat battle in Nashville that one time?
Oh yeah. So look, it was we won the first beat battle, the preliminary round, but we lost the championship round. And I ain't gonna lie, the dude that won, he was dope. But it was kind of hard to win in Nashville because it was competing against the home crowd.
But you took it, bro. You took it.
Yeah, we took it the first time, but that second time he came deep. I was like, yeah, we're not winning this thing.
Hey, man, you can always learn something from it. And I agree. I agree that where to go. Yeah, independent artists are so underrated. I agree, and which is why with the React Tag channel, I'm kind of like I will do major artists if like it calls for it, but I want to more focus on the independent side of things. That's where my passion is. Plus, fuck the mainstream. I it's like it's so crazy that some of these artists who get big on YouTube sign with people when it's like how much do you need? Like, it's all to me. It's about the legacy, the art, what it really means, and then everything else will come with that. And again, your passion through it, years of putting things in there, recording artist after artist after artist. Like you said, there's a plethora of artists you could throw a stone.
Yeah, and I've been in situations where I would build a sound out for the artist, blow them up, and then I go sign, and then the label says, "Oh, we don't need you no more." And then now the artist doesn't blow up anymore because they changed it. Then they don't understand because they look at independence, kind of like as like the bottom of the totem pole. And in actuality, it's the other way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, in a lot of situations, like I said, like they'll take the artist and they're sitting there confused because they're like, "Oh, we threw the best producers at them and the best engineers, but they're not selling anymore." And it's because you strip them of the sound that everybody fell in love with.
The substance that's there.
Yeah.
You take them out of that substance, and what does it mean? And I think it plays to why church is so successful.
Yeah.
Because he's changed up in the way that he wants to change up. I say it's like he's got a genre called Creeker, and then he's got all these different subgenres underneath this Creeker genre. The dude creates branches, right? He grows trees, and
yeah, I'm still learning too. So
well, and that's amazing to me. Like I like that because then I can say, all right, he just told me he's still learning. Now I'm like, now I look forward to what's coming next, like because I don't expect it, right? I can listen to the same art, like we put on a Taylor Swift album, you know what you're getting. You know what I'm saying?
It's all gonna sound the same.
But if I put on a Kalani record, who knows what's happening next, man? He might throw a curveball at me, which I forget which track it was. It might have been Blue Jeans. I can't remember, but there was this like bass switch up in it. It was like the bass went, I think, either from low to high or high to low. And the way that it fit into that with the way Church put his thing, I was just like, oh my God, did it really go there? And I just love it, dude. I love it. And I think that you challenge Church on this one. And I think it shows, man.
Oh no, I'm glad I can do it. I think we both I think we're both in there challenging each other on like how far we can push each other with this project and the sound and what we can do. Because a lot of the stuff I wasn't expecting him to do, on a project, especially the R&B record.
Which, like, I mean, who doesn't love R&B, man? Like,
nah, for real.
Well, I mean, the '90s, bro. The best R&B around is the '90s. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you might call it a baby boom with that.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, Buckeye, we gotta ask this question. Buckeye says, Kalani, who is your favorite artist that you first fell in love with?
Man, that's so hard.
Aren't you under contract to stay up, Church? No, I'm just kidding.
Man, If I have to say anything, it'll be Nas.
Nice.
It'll be Nas. And I think that's like his records and his albums made me fall in love with like a whole album, if that makes sense. Because I used to listen to the whole album from front to back. I used to pay attention to how their album should flow, like the skits in between, like how the songs would make you feel, like the and I think I carried that along with how I do music now, and how when I do things, it has to have a flow, it has to have an order, even if it doesn't even sound the same. Like it still has to flow some kind of way. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
So now it's like I used to literally go to sleep to his music and wake up to his music. I got every single one of his albums.
Nice.
So that's why whenever and it's crazy because we've been this is the first time I've ever had an album chart. I didn't chart this fast and chart to #1 on iTunes. And I'm saying this because we got knocked out of the #1 spot by Nas.
Oh, hey, if you're gonna get beat by the best, right?
Yeah. No, that's when I got beat. When I got beat by Nas, and when we got beat by Nas, I was sitting there like, dang, this is crazy. I was like, I'm on the charts with Nas. Like that's what I was looking at.
Dude, like right there, full circle again. People in the chat, man, you can change your life by working hard. You can do things that you never thought. You think I thought Upchurch would come in my chat and be like, "Yo, what's up, Scan? How you doing?" Like just showing love and no, I never expected that. I was just putting out stuff that I love to reacting to stuff I love to listen to, and stuff that I've been like learning about and like really learning this side of music. It's hard work, dedication, man. You can live your dream. Like I'm sure when you had that moment, you weren't even mad about it. You were like, "What is my life right now?"
Now, for real, it was like, bro, I'm not even mad. I'm sitting here like, I feel amazing because it's like I'm on the same charts with Nas.
Well, think about it. Nas was paying attention to the charts, so he saw your name.
Yeah, I know he saw it. I know he saw it.
Which is amazing.
It was crazy. It's like I went through his album, and then I went back to our album. I was like, we killing Nas's album.
He's just been around for so long, has a much more bigger following,
Yeah. His album's still amazing.
Yeah. But to think about that though, think about that. To skirt that line, you're beating Nas, the inspiration to what drove you to this point. You're on that chart with him, like that's living a dream, man. Like,
it's a real.
It's a win-win for you, bro. It don't matter whether you win or lose, you're still winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. I love it. Snow Dub, speaking of rappers, my brother Snow Dub, I feel Eazy-E was the greatest album of all time. He was pushed to rap by Dre and became a natural. And he could sing. He covered gangster rap and pimp rap perfectly and was taken away before his peak. You got any thoughts on that one?
Eazy-E?
Yeah.
I didn't really listen to Eazy too much because it was like a little before my time.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's no.
Yeah, I mean, I know his records. I did listen to it was one song I know of Eazy. But I ain't gonna like. It was a long period of time. My pops banned me from listening to rap because this was around like when Bone Thugs and Harmony came out, East 99.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then I was a kid and my older brother, he was like breaking down the lyrics to me. And my dad was sitting on the other side of the room just listening. He came on the other side of the door. He ripped the tape cassette out. He tore the tape out. He was like, y'all not listening to this no more.
I feel like we had the same childhood, man, because I remember my mom was with this guy who used to detail cars, and he detailed this one car, or ended up getting a car because somebody owed him money, whatever. They had some Korn CDs underneath the thing. And this was back when I was getting like the metal stuff. And I was like, oh, hey, Mom, let me get those CDs. She's like, yeah, I'm going to listen to it first. She plays like track 5 on the record. And I think it might have been Freak on a Leash. I don't know, maybe track 5. And the opening track is like, fuck. She pulls that thing out of the CD player, breaks it in half, and throws it in the trash. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I end up getting a hold of Static X's Wisconsin Dead Trip. And if you know the lyrics to that, which you can't understand him when he's singing most of the time, but if you know the lyrics, you're like, it's even worse than that. But we always found a way to listen to it, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I still listen to it. I had a bootleg copy of it. at home, you know, how I used to stuff the tissue paper at the top of the cassette tape.
Yep. I would put tape, like electrical, like piece of electrical tape would be
Yeah.
perfect. You just record shit off the radio.
So
Man, we were hacking back then too, man. Look at that.
Oh, for real.
It just goes to show you, man, you're not gonna stop anybody from making art, music, or getting it. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way.
No, for real.
Nas has always been the truth, Scuba Sam. There you go. That's
Nah,
what's up.
yeah, he's still hard. He's still really hard.
Do what you love and make people make people love you. No, I don't want to make anybody love me. If they want to love me, I'm cool with that.
No, that's true. That's true. That's a true statement.
Church is not like any other artist. He cares about people that show him love. He does. And that's the other thing too, is like with Kalani here, he didn't have to come on this little tiny channel and talk to us, but he's here. And okay, so let me ask you this. When did you learn that like kind of paying it to the audience or paying it to the fans like was as important as it is? Was there a moment for you in your career with that? Like where you're like, okay, we got to show love to these people?
Well, I've always kind of been one of them kind of people. Like I like to just show appreciation. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of see that kind of when I see y'all going above and beyond sometimes, and I see y'all taking y'all's time out to do these reactions and take your time out to interview people like me. You know what I'm saying? And out of that, like to me, I just feel like, you know, at the least I can do is take an hour out of my day, 2 hours out of my day to do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, man. It means a lot to us, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I'll you know, at the same time, like I feel like whenever I was gonna be granted an opportunity to be in this position, I don't want to be that kind of person. You know, to be closed off and not share the knowledge of what I know how to do, because I don't know who I may inspire to be able to do what I do, or they may be the next big Timberland or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
No, absolutely, man. I think that's important. It's something I try to do, and obviously we always fall short of it. But interacting with somebody, like you said, you never know who you're interacting with. Could be the next so and so. I mean, could just be the person who like shares your stuff out and says, "Hey, man, check this guy out," and then whatever, you blow up. But I think this is just God blessing people in that way. But you coming up to church or you meeting with church, to me, is destined, man. At some point, there was a plan that said, like, all right, we're gonna condition Kalani here. We're gonna spend these years really molding them into something great. And now here's this opportunity. And man, dude, I hope you run with it, dude. I hope you take this flag and you just run with it, bro. And I can't wait to see what's next. Speaking of, what's next for you in your personal career? What's next for you?
Church and hit me right after the project. He was like, when you coming back? He was like, when you coming back? And I was like, hold on, give me a few days, man.
I gotta breathe a little bit. This is 7 days, man. 7 days. All right. Go ahead.
We're gonna. He does want to work on another project. So that is in the plans. You know.
Oh, yeah.
So as of recently, I think that I won't say that's going to be the focus for me, but that's going to be a big part of my focus is working with church and cultivating the sound that we got, because we do got something going on with this, because I've worked with a lot of artists before, across the board, artists that's big, artists that's nobody's, not saying it like that, but it's hard to find somebody that you can mesh with, you know what I'm saying? Or vibe with, and you can just do whatever you want with music, and whenever you come across those situations, it's no ceiling where you can go with the sound that you can do. And I've been in those situations before with certain artists, but they didn't really have a budget or name to really do anything. But we were able to create amazing work, but it was like it would get stuck there because either they didn't have the work ethic or they didn't have their business set in order. You know what I'm saying?
How often do you see that, man?
I see, to be honest with you, I see that a lot. Like
probably more than people who are probably taking it serious.
Too much. Like I run across a lot of artists that are extremely talented, but they lack the drive and they lack the focus. And that's the thing. Like we'll get in the studio and we'll have an amazing vibe, but then that's it. you know, it's like, yeah, it's like they'll create one song. I'll be like, nah, we got to create like 50 more. Like, like you just can't create one and that's it. Like you know, it's not that type of industry anymore where you can just make one song and that's it. You just go dive.
They just want to be that one hit wonder person. That's all they want to be.
Yeah. And I think maybe a lot of these new artists, here's something I've noticed is that maybe they're confusing with the fact that these big independent artists are putting out one individual track that's getting a lot of views and things, but you don't understand. They're not seeing what came before, and they're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Yes, like it used to be where like an album release was a big deal. You know, they promote the album, you go buy the album, you go home, you sit and listen to the whole record. Now it's like, okay, we have individual singles that are come out, and that's kind of where it's like wrapped around. I think they're getting confused in the sense of like, yes, like we're releasing tracks individually as like a kind of like a big deal, but that's not the overall story. That's just a little bit of what goes on behind it. That's just to draw you into the rest of what's going on. I think maybe some of these artists don't realize that like you look at, okay, we'll use Broadnax as an example. That dude, I think he said he was going to put out like a video every other Friday, or it was like so many within like 30-day period or something like that. Like this is what guys are doing. They're grinding. They're working hard. They're putting in 15, 20 hours a day. I mean, hell, dude, I just picked up a second job as I'm trying to build this, as I'm working on my full-time. It's like, nobody's going to give it to you. You have to put in the work for it. You have to work hard for it. And you have to stay focused. It doesn't matter if it's painful to get up and write that verse or get up. Like, I'm sure there's probably days, even on this album, this Blue Jeans album, that you were like, man, this is going to be rough. All right, let's do this. Right?
You know, it's crazy on this one, though.
No. Oh, okay. Well,
you know, this is the first project where the first day it was like that, the very first day. And it was really because I was nervous when I first got there. And I think, and Church wasn't nervous, but like we were both trying to get the vibe. So like the first day it was like, let's just pick out some beats and come back to it. And the next day after that, it was like a switch flip. It was fire after that.
It's just like you find your spot, man, right? You find your
Once we got comfortable, you know, it was crazy. But like that was the easiest project I probably worked on because they let me do my job.
That's,
you know, and I know you probably can relate because being in the industry, when somebody lets you do their job and trusts you to do your job, and the results come out amazing, like, you know, everybody's happy. But a lot of times in projects, they get held up because people don't let me do my job. They don't let me engineer. They don't take my advice.
And those are probably a lot of the same people that don't have the drive to keep succeeding. Yeah,
and it's also too because what it is I've worked with a lot of big people, but I don't brag about who I work with. I don't really like to even have it like just on display or whatever who I work with. So a lot of people, because a lot of people are, you know how it is, the industry is driven by stats, who you work with,
numbers,
not what you can do, who you work with. So a lot of times people would undermine my knowledge because of who I didn't work with, or because of that situation. They'll go to somebody that doesn't have anywhere close to, you know, my talent, and they'll take their record and get it all messed up, and they come back to me like, oh man, I should have listened to you. Can you fix this? You know what I'm saying?
People's humorous, man.
Yeah, so that happens a lot.
Well, you know, it's crazy because if they would see live streams like this and things like this that people are saying, we love and appreciate you, Kalani. Much respect to you. And then
man, I appreciate you.
This right here, shit, Kalani inspired me to keep going.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Like,
that's the homie right there. Mariah.
That's it. That, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about dollar signs. That, like, when I get a comment that says, man, this was a great reaction, dude, this is, you know, or like, hey, thank you so much for doing this reaction, it was really great, I thought I was the only one who felt this. Like, when I get that shit, man, that is like, that's better than any dollar anybody can give me, man, because, you know, we did something for somebody, you know, that right there, man. Don't block your blessings and seize opportunities. You have to. Have to.
That's true.
Man, Krieger Mirage just put it out there. Kalani has worked with a lot of big artists in Houston. T2s. Oh, yeah, speaking of T2, I did drop him a link. Don't know if it'll show up, but we are going to do an interview with T2 at some point. So you guys look forward to that, man.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some work, too. Me and T2.
It was so funny, man. We were doing that live reaction, and I think it's the last track on the album. Motion Picture.
Yeah.
Where he popped out the track starts, and I'm just like, I'm kind of getting some like Frank Ocean vibes in here, man. He tripped out by it. He was like, he said my boy said Frank Ocean, man. Hey, I'm just calling it like I is, man. The guy, or like it is, the boy's got a voice, and that style to what you brought to that, and the way that he laid his vocals down on that, man. It's just it gives it that like kind of cool vibe to it, man. Like, and I love Frank Ocean, so.
Yeah, no, I like that record. But actually, that one, I can't remember his name. One of his engineers actually produced that one. T2s.
Yeah.
I actually engineered that record. So it's 2 records on here that I didn't produce. It's Motion Picture. That's the one that you're talking about, and the other T2 record. I just engineered them, just mix and master them.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, one of them is it's funny because one of the my mind is blank right now, but the other T2 record, that one, the guy that produced that, he was my studio neighbor in the same building that me and B Loose was in.
Oh, nice. So is that how you? Okay, yeah. Let's just dive into that. Let's dive into like coming up to meeting, church, and obviously I think it's B Loose that gets you guys connected. Let me ask you this real quick. The beginning of the documentary, is that exactly how it went down? The conversation between you guys was like, church is like, yo, B Loose, let's get Kalani here, and then B Loose messages you and says, hey, can you do it? And it was like, is that how it really went down?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's what sounds good.
Pretty much.
Scuba Sam says, let's just be frank here. Kalani is freaking great at everything he does.
I appreciate that, Scuba Sam.
I agree. Man, people are just showing some love today. That's so great. Sometimes it's not who you are, it's who you know. True. But you got to be good, solid person underneath. Dude, look, the audience knows if you're bullshitting them, man. The audience knows, man. You don't ever want to, like, not give it to the people watching, and because they see everything, man.
No, that's true.
Yep. See, it's true. A bad attitude is like a flat tire. It will get you nowhere until you change it.
Yeah,
100%, man.
Yeah, being the cool person will get you in a lot of doors and get you a lot of deals closed.
That's it.
Just being cool.
All right, so you meet up. So how does this work? B Loose. How did you meet B Loose? I guess.
Okay, so B Loose was we both had studios in a building that housed a few different studios. It was called Soundcheck Music Complex. So I was the new guy that moved in, and the only room they had available. Well, first of all, let me go back. So my studio got shut down by the fire marshals. My studio before that.
Oh, dang.
It got shut down because it was another music complex, and it was a whole bunch of studios there. The guy didn't tell us that the fire marshals were coming to shut down the building. He was hiding everything from us. So we show up to the studio, locks are on everything. You know, we couldn't get in, we couldn't get our equipment out. So somebody broke the locks, we went in, got our stuff out, and I just had to get a studio. So I hit a sound check. The guy was like, I got a room, but it's small. It was literally the size of a closet, like a large walk-in closet. So I took it, worked in that room, and it was next to the bathroom. So every time somebody would take a dump, bro, you can smell it in my room.
Oh.
I used to hate it.
Oh, damn. You gotta hear that spray.
Yeah, so I'll be in there like till 3, 4 in the morning working all the time, and B Loose would be the only other person in there working. You know, so eventually, you know, we started.
Is this in Houston?
Yeah, in Houston.
Okay.
So eventually, you know, I think it was one day he heard me on, like, I was making the beat. He knocked on the door. That's how he introduced himself. He's like, I heard you down the hall. He's like, bro, your beat's always sounding crazy. He was like, you know, this is me. And he started telling me a situation with him and one of his other homies at the time. And I'm cool with him too now. He's one of my homies. But yeah, he was working with an artist at the time, and he was trying to get me to help him with some of their stuff over there. So we built a working relationship just through that. Him knocking on my door, you know, him like, hey, bro, like, your beats are dope.
I was kind of hoping you were going to tell a story of B Loose taking a shit and then was listening to your music and then came over. I was really hoping for that story, but
I mean, that could have happened. I don't know.
You were just so focused. That's cool, man. All right, so B Loose, you guys become cool and shit like that. Like, how long until he's like, yo, hey, man, what's up? Like, obviously, Church takes the trip to Texas.
Yeah, but this is like years before. He wasn't even shooting videos then.
Really?
Like, yeah, B Loose was like, he was helping his homie out with music, and I think B Loose was just coming off of the end of like, I think he was because B Loose was an artist too. I don't know if anybody knows it. You may not say it, but he used to mess with music back in the day. Then he transitioned to helping his homeboy out with his music. And then he started doing music videos because I helped him build his first computer. And that's the computer that he was running around with church and getting all the videos done. But yeah,
that's so crazy how that's so crazy.
Yeah, so he disappeared from, you know, after they left Soundcheck, the music complex we were all at. I didn't hear from Beatles for a while. Then he popped back up and he was like, yeah, I got my own little office downtown, and you know, I'm doing different things now. I'm focusing on my video stuff. So he focused in on his video work and took off literally. Next thing I heard, he was working with church. And then he called me back later. He was like, now I'm managing church, and was like, dang, boy, you up there, you know, doing things. So
nice.
So I wasn't never expecting him to turn around and be like, hey, bro, like you need to come over here and do some work over here. I was never expecting that. I was just genuinely happy that like he was doing amazing things. He was doing great because I knew where he came from. You know what I'm saying?
That's right there to me, I think is the sauce that makes the blessing right there, is being happy for the individuals who are being successful, regardless of your success. And that is so important to me. It's why I support other creators. It's why I show love to people who are successful, who are wildly more successful than me. I still show them love because it's about what you put out there. And I feel like you get it back when you put it out there. So like when you celebrate B Loose's success, you know, this is the blessing that comes from those sorts of things, man. And it's great. Now, Kurt, I think you were telling me about B Loose. You know a little bit about like the lore of like Up Church and all of that, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yes, not much.
So, but I think you were telling me the other day something about B Loose used to do music and stuff like that. Was that?
I did not know he did music. I knew he was from Texas area. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So B Loose, when does he hit you up? Like, when does he say, "Hey, do you want to work with church?" Or how does like church going from Nashville to Texas happen?
Well, first, what happened was he hit me up and was like, "Hey, send some tracks over." And I was working with A&R at the time, and I was doing some stuff with, like Black Youngster and all of them. And he was like, "Send some records over." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I just sent some records over, and he told me about church, and he sent me a few of his records, but I still wasn't like paying attention to like the whole thing. So
everything that
because it is a lot. I didn't know how much it was.
Yeah.
So he hit me back. I sent him like a folder of like 10 tracks. He hit me back. He was like, "Bro, he went crazy. He was all 10 tracks." And I was like, "Quit playing."
Yeah, you're like, "Whatever, man. Why you lying?"
Yeah. So he's like, "Nah, for real, he went all 10 tracks." So he got 10 tracks. And a year went by. And I didn't hear from him or anything. You know, they were just on the road doing whatever. I think he hit me and was like, "Hey, we might be coming to town. And if we come to town, I'm gonna hit you. And if I hit you, just like try to clear the schedule if you can." And B-Luz is a homie. If one of my homies tell me like, "Hey, clear your schedule," like I'm gonna listen to one of the homies because you know they know me and they know how I work. You know, and I try to take everything serious that people tell me. So he hit me out the blue, and I didn't know they were coming that soon. I had a whole book day, like from morning to morning. Like it was one of those days where I was booked from 11 noon to 1 in the morning.
Oh, you were busy all day.
Yeah, so that's typically how my days are during the week. Like I'm getting in the studio at 11. I'm booked from morning to morning. You know, with clients just coming in and out the door. So that first day he comes into I clear the schedule out, right? So when I clear the schedule out, they end up coming like later that evening or whatever. And I think that's the first night we knocked out Stars Go Blue.
Oh man, I love that.
Like I made that, like he came in and he was like, "Hey," he was like, "Man, what you think about this?" And he was talking, he pulled up the sample, the song. And I was like, yeah, I was like, let me see what I can do. So he went outside and I think they're outside talking. Him and Rob was there, security. But yeah, they're out there talking. And he came back in. I already had like a loop going to the beat. So so right then and there he wrote to it, came up with everything, and then that's when we called him the guitar player. And I was like, hey, I gotta call my homie in on this one. I know he can kill it. So we literally like that first day, we came up with Stars the Loop. Then
That's
the second,
such a good thing, man. Like I loved reacting to that one, man. Just the vibe on that is just, you guys nailed that one, dude.
Yeah, and I was even surprised at I think we both were, because we both weren't expecting that. I always go into situations with an open mind, because I never know the outcome. And it was one of them situations where we were both blown away.
But isn't that the best, like the organic build of that, where like you have this like idea where you're like, yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see what we can do with it. And then what comes out of that is just this perfect amalgamation of genres and styles and just, man, great job on that track.
No, I appreciate it, man.
I say everybody else seems to like it. What did they say was such a banger? And I agree, British Bulldog. Love this interview. Well, hey, I appreciate it, man. We definitely. All right, so we meet up, church, and he hits you up and says, hey, I want to do a record. You're like, I got a week. Next week, 1 week. You had to clear your schedule for that, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I had a few people mad at me. No, they was mad at me. No, everybody's cool. They understood. I had a few people that they acted a little funny, but they got over it. They were
oh yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you got you're building your career and your name, and you seizing an opportunity, not just to work with church, but to work with guys who are still pushing the envelope in music, right?
Yeah.
Because go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest. Like, we all want to be part of something great,
right?
And we want to do something great. And especially with me, like, I want to be able to, leave some type of legacy here that I made an impact somewhere.
That's it, man. Hey, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, man, and I love it, dude. And that's the thing. I've spent a lot of time, especially in the last year, with myself, like trying to surround myself with the right people, to learn from people and be inspired by people. Another reason why I'm so drawn to church and what he's got going on, and those guys in that genre, is just, these guys are talking about and keep driving, keep going, keep pushing, and don't let anybody tell you, that you can't do something. So it's just cool to see that, like, an individual such as yourself can literally go from beating pots and pans as a kid to, making this amazing music that, people are just buzzing about, talking about. And like, that is inspiring to me, man. It can be done, man. You just got to put the work and passion to it. I hope you enjoyed Tennessee. Kalani, much love, homie. Y'all stay blessed. We'll pick them around.
Yeah. No, I did for sure.
Absolutely. All right. So let's see. We're coming to the close of this, but I want to get a little bit more information on this Blue Jeans album here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the studio. What was like obviously it's probably hard because it happened so fast, but your favorite song to record on this album, the favorite song that you and Church sat down and pounded out. What's the favorite one?
So hard because I have a few favorite songs here. Like, literally, I have a few favorites on this album.
Well, tell us about it real quick. Yeah, tell us about the.
One of them is Weather Out My Window.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's like we were all like zoned in, like me, Ryan, and B Loose. Like, we was all like throwing the ideas at the board. Like, what if we do this? What if we do this here? And that, to see how that one came together at the end, like, that's why I love the process of knowing where it started. Because if y'all would have seen where it started to where it ended, y'all probably would be a whole lot more amazed too. Because
I bet I want demo tracks, man. We got to do like a demo EP, bro.
Yeah, I know, right?
That'd be sick.
Put some together. That one, and what was another one? Trouble.
Oh, I love that one. That's the one with
Trouble.
Sky, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was because it got stuck in our heads. Like,
it's catchy, bro.
Yeah, like the record wasn't even finished, and it was like me and Beatles were riding around, and he was singing it the whole time in the car ride.
Dude, it's like the one song that I find myself saying, "Baby, I'm trouble for you." It's just like this beautiful, flowy, like, I'll say be sitting here before I even start like a stream or something, or before I start a video or a reaction. Like that's the song in my head, and I think that might be my favorite song on the album is Trouble.
Yeah, that record, that's one of my favorites too.
And
So,
Sky, dude, Sky, holy crap, man! Like
yeah,
she just brings a whole level of soul to it, man.
she can blow. She can sing. Yeah, she can sing for real.
And like I think it was in the documentary because we're gonna actually do a live reaction to the documentary Cardiac and I at some point. But I was
gotta
kind of
check that
skimming.
out.
I was kind of skimming through like some of the what you guys were talking about, the highlights, so to speak.
Mhm.
And you guys were talking about like we were in the studio, we were hot, sweaty, working on this song, and like you almost feel that, right? Like in the back of a southern bar that's playing some blues music on stage, everybody's sweating, but everybody's dancing and having a good time. There's drinks being had. Like that's the feeling I get when I hear Trouble. It's
Yeah,
like that dirty southern bar with the blues playing in the background and everybody's just dancing and sweaty and having a good time, man. Like that's the vibe I get from that song.
oh yeah, it was all the way. It was that vibe all the way in there. And I think they added to it, but like I didn't even notice it until somebody mentioned it I think it was Church. He mentioned it. He was like, "Oh, sorry about this." I was like, "Bro, I didn't even mention it till you said something. I didn't even know like what you was talking about till you brought it up." But yeah, it was that vibe on that day.
I love that, man. The vibe on this one, and I think Blue Jeans is very a very appropriate name for this album because there is a lot of blues flair to it. There's soul flair to it. There's like that, that Texas blues. Because let's be honest, man, blues, yes, are the blues, but the blues in like let's say New Orleans is going to be a little bit different than the blues in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic. But we do have a donation. Thank you, memes. Totally not meme. I mean, thank you, totally not memes, even though it probably was memes. Appreciate the 1337, bro. We got to give you. Let's see. Let's give him a track. What should we give him? I guess since where is it? You know what? Here we go. Since we're talking about church and everything, this one's for you.
That's how cringy humans are made when the devil and God get together and do drugs. That's how cringy humans.
Yep. All right. Didn't mean to click that twice, but we do clips when people donate. We show a little love. And we play some funny clips. Let me play one more for you, just because I love doing these little clips here, man.
Maybe I do smoke too much weed. I don't know. I'll go pray about it and see if God has anything to say to me.
That's my good buddy Darth News, man. Another big creator who I've become good friends with. It's funny too because I remember telling Kashik in the chat one time, like, this guy and I are gonna be best friends. You don't even know it. This guy and I are gonna be best friends. Now we're like damn good friends. It's kind of funny how that worked out. All right, so we've got Trouble and we've got Weather Out My Window, which Weather Out My Window is just such to me, a brilliant song, the way it's written, the way it's put together. Honestly, my second favorite song on the album, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, in no title.
No, of course. I mean, no title.
No title. I ain't gonna lie, we turned up in the studio on that one. We had fun on that one.
Oh, I bet.
As far like his energy on the end of it was like that in the studio too.
Right from beginning to end, I mean, just the way he attacks that mic in it is like, that song slaps. Cardiac, you got anything to ask about Blue Jeans? Come on, man, give me a question about Blue Jeans. Let's hear it. I want to know.
A question about Blue Jeans. Oh man.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah, you put me on the spot again.
You just think about it, man. You just think about it.
That's how it was whenever Beatles kept asking me about during the documentary. He kept asking me like, "What was you thinking when you made this beat?" And honestly, when I make beats, sometimes I zone out. And he asked me, I was like, "Bro, I have no idea what I was thinking."
I done that same shit, man. I'll be writing a song and like, wait, how did I do that? I don't even know if I can recreate that. How did I do that? Oh, that's wild, man. No, that's great. So you already answered the question. You guys got something planned. Is there anything that you can tell us about it? Is there anything like you in church? Is there anything? Can you give us little tidbits?
Nah, but we gonna make some new bangers.
That's it, baby. That's all we need to know, man. That's so cool, man. Well, look, I don't want to keep too much of your time. We are a little over an hour, and I know you're a busy guy. You got things you got going on, people to produce and engineer, and dude, just thank you so much for everything that you've done, not only on this album, but reaching out to Cardiac. I know you reached out to him and thanked him for the reactions we did live, but really all the thanks is on this side of things, man, because as a person who isn't producing music or doing cool shit like that. I am doing cool stuff, just not that. It's for you to just take the time to come talk to us, man. You have no clue what that means to me. I know Cardiac, like he's been invested in this, you know, the Ryan Upchurch and that whole genre for a long time. This is the guy I go to for information. I'm the guy learning.
Yeah.
This is the guy that I, brought in to teach me some stuff. So, and you've met Upchurch, right, Cardiac?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. Well, maybe one day I'll get to meet the great man. I know he comes in the chat all the time, which is cool, but it is an absolute pleasure to get to meet you, man, and to even just be considered you coming on here is like, dude, it means the world to me, and it's an unbelievable blessing. So let's take a couple of questions in the chat real quick. If you guys got questions, I would love to ask those questions. Blue Jeans fits so well. It really does. It really does. And I appreciate some of you guys in the chat. I apologize if I didn't get to some of your comments. I see Daisy in the chat, one of the biggest supporters here on the channel. I appreciate you, Daisy. You are one of a kind, no doubt. Yeah, feel free. We're going to give it a minute and then ask questions. I don't zone out. I get hyper-focused. Well, that's good, man. That's important. That's important. But don't forget, man, there's people around you that love you. Pay attention to them, too. Kalani, how long did it take to make that no title beat? Seriously, badass.
Probably 30 minutes.
30.
Yeah. Sometimes like that one. Yeah, that one. I remember I cranked that one out quick.
Well, let me ask you this, and I notice, at least in my process, if I'm writing something, like I'll get a beat going, and like how it used to be with music, from what I understand, you would write the melody and then you would write the music around the melody. Well, nowadays it's like you write the music first and then you kind of add what you can to it. I'll write like a half a song and not even finish the other half till later. Like your process with that, I guess, would be one of my last questions. What's your process in coming up with the beat?
Oh, the process is kind of in two parts with me and how I like to work. All of these tracks on the album, I already 90% of them I already had laid out. Not how they are, of course, on the album. But after they were produced and after Church did what he did to them, I went in and did a lot of post-production on the records. Like I went in and changed up some of the melodies, changed up probably some small chords or some small drum parts, just to curate the record to fit like some Blue Jeans.
Nice. No, it's beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying? Around his voice. So that's why a lot of the records on the album, like, they have different vibes, but they all fit well together. You know what I'm saying? Because I was able to go in there and change a lot of that. But yeah, a lot of my beats, I like to go in after the vocals are laid and really fit in whatever parts that needs to be changed, whether it's chords, drums, I'm changing that to fit with those vocals.
Just kind of more or less like refining the melting process together of the structure of the song, right?
Yeah, making it one.
Nice, man. That's what's up, dude. That's what's up. And shout out to Daisy again. She says, thank you for coming on Ort's channel, Kalani.
Oh, anytime.
Absolutely. British Bulldog says, great interview, man. Hey, look, he's the great man, dude. When you got great people, it's easy to interview them. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate it.
It's all our boy here, Kalani. Biggest influences. I think we did touch base on that, Don. Nas, right?
Yeah, Nas is one of them. And Timbaland, of course, is one of my influences on production. Dr. Dre, like I have all of the big ones, Swiss Beats. Who else? Neptunes. I'm a bigger fan of Neptunes more so than Pharrell, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I know a lot of younger people they may not understand because they think but nah, it's a difference.
Gotcha. Well, hell yeah, that's what's up, dude. That's what's up. Any other ones? Any other influences?
And Quincy Jones, if I want to reach back to some of the stuff he did, yeah. Like I'm a big fan of his, and he influenced a lot of stuff I do now.
Nice. Well, there you go, Don. I know I love it, man. It's all great, man. And shout out to those guys for inspiring you to do what you do, man, because that's amazing. We severely appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Steve Sam.
That's what's up. Hell yeah, man. Buckeye says thank you. Love it. I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate that,
you guys too, man. Question: when I make my music, I prefer instruments over digital. When it comes to guitar, saxophone, etc., do you prefer real instruments or digital tracks when producing?
Okay, when it comes to brass and reedy instruments, I'm gonna go for real every time. Because well, I wouldn't say I grew up, but I'm a trumpet player too. I haven't picked it up in a while. But yeah, I prefer real over the synthesized instruments any day.
There you go. And yeah, Snowdub, he's had some success in rapping and stuff too back in the day.
Cool.
And I've been talking with him about putting some stuff together, maybe doing some collaboration work on some music. So maybe one day you'll see some stuff from us, which would be pretty cool. But just I'm like in that stage where it's like I don't want anybody else to hear it unless I ask them to listen to it and criticize me. Like it's still learning. It's a great process, man. I just like creating music is, dude. It just puts me in such a good place in my brain, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, Snowdub agrees. He says, "Hell yes." Digital is convenient, but analog is warmer. Yeah, there's just nuances you can't get, certain note styles, certain things you're not gonna get with like a digital instrument, but they are nice to have if you need them.
Yeah.
Cardiac, one last thing at all? Anything else you want to add to this, my guy?
Not offhand, no.
Not offhand? You sure, man?
I don't know. There's something going on in my headphone. I know that.
Yeah, I hear something going on here. Hold on a sec.
Wife over here vacuuming upstairs.
It could be. All right. I think we're good now. All right. Well, with that being said, we are gonna unfortunately, I could sit here and talk planning all day about this stuff, but thank you again for coming on, man. Appreciate everybody coming in the chat. You guys are amazing. I'm gonna put you guys in the backstage, and then I'll bring you guys in as soon as we end the show. We're gonna with a couple of clips, and then that'll be that. So you guys sit tight in the back. Cardiac, I appreciate you joining me today, baby. Always gotta have my skin. Always got it. Don't let me hang, skin. Other way. No, other way.
Other way?
There you go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Of course, a big shout out. Always a big thank you, Ords, for all you do. Appreciate you for all the support you have shown. Dude, look, man, we're in this shit together, dude. You know, if I can succeed, then everybody can succeed. So we're going to keep this shit tracking. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep putting out videos over on all these different channels that we're doing. If you guys like the live streams and stuff, we're going to keep doing it, man. T2's coming next. We're going to be interviewing T2, so don't worry. We're going to be talking about our boy T2. Who's also been super fucking cool, man, in the DMs and stuff. Like we talk like we're old homies and stuff. So it's cool, man.
Yeah, T2's that kind of person.
He's just cool, man. He's cool. I can't wait to chat with him. But thank you again. Like I said, I'll put you guys back and I'll pull you in as soon as the show ends to say thank you one last time. We're gonna leave clips. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Guys, go check out Kalaniondabeat. We've been dropping his channel link in the chat. Make sure you go check that out. We're gonna play a clip and then we're gonna end it with a little bit of the Blue Jeans record. I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Stay tuned. We got more coming. I love all you guys. We'll catch you on the other side. Peace.
I want you to take the Frankenstein shit, the deer shit, the green monster, the bling, and the bling bling. And I want you to roll it all into one joint.
No one's ever been brave enough to try that.
One man is. Roll it.
I'll smoke it with you, bro. We'll go to the loony bin together.